Morning, I'm Peter at Range and Country.
And I'm Ken.
And we're sat here for this bit of a chat about Ken's gun history. So, Ken, how long have you been shooting?
I've been shooting for 71 years, Peter.
Wow.
I started shooting with a smoothbore Diana rifle. I used to shoot left shoulder.
What year was that?
That would be 1949.
Wow.
That's given my age away, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
Yes, I started with a smoothbore Diana, and my father always told me I could have a better rifle, a rifle barrel one, when I learned to shoot with my right shoulder, because I was left-handed, left-shouldered. And for a long while I suppose I could call it ambi-shouldered. I was ambidextrous, but I did learn to shoot with my right shoulder. I shoot that way all the time.
So can you shoot left-handed now?
I can, but probably nothing like as accurate I can with the right shoulder. And having said that, I'm not that accurate with the right shoulder some days.
What did you go on to after your smoothbore?
BSA Cadet.
Okay.
And then my dream rifle was BSA Air Sporter, which was at that time was revolutionary in the airgun world. Underlever, little to cock it, a little catch at the top to drop your pellet in. Very, very, very accurate rifle.
Well, when did you get one of those?
I can't remember exactly. I think I was about the age of 16. But I had that for many, many years. I should have never sold it. A beautiful rifle.
I remember we went on holiday with my parents one year. I must have been probably 7 or 8, and we came back. And my elder brother, who was 13 years older than me, he had bought one from Slingsby's in Sleaford. And we of course we all had a go. I was too small to cock it. I was too small really. But I think that's where that was probably one of the first guns I shot.
Yeah. It was the one that really got me interested in rifles, in air rifles anyway.
Yeah.
And the thing is, in those days, everybody wanted a 2.2.
They did.
They didn't realise that there was such a looped trajectory that over and above a 177. That's why.
Do you know, most older people that we find, they want 2.2 now.
Yeah, I know.
And you talk to them about it, and no, still want a 2.2. That's fine.
No, I find a 177 does the job.
Yeah.
It's more accurate.
Yeah.
Flatter trajectory.
So what about after your sporter then?
After the sport, I went into shotguns. I had a Belgian 410, which was a poacher's rifle. It would fold up and go in New Wellington. I had a family heirloom side-by-side 12-bore shotgun made by Hensman in Boston. It was my great-great-grandfather's. And I shot that for many, many years using very high-powered Ely Nock cartridges when I should have been using black powder. Yeah, really, really long range. But
More of a goose gun then, was it?
Yeah, it was. And we used to use it out on the marshes.
Yeah.
Used to go with my mates. 17, 18-year-olds laying in a dyke at 5 o'clock in the morning waiting for the geese to come in.
Wow.
And that lasted for many years, and then I bought an Italian over-under, which I never really liked, and sold it to Slingsby's in Sleaford, as you were talking about, for a fishing rod.
Wow.
But shooting has always been a passion.
How long were you into shotguns for? How long before you went back to air guns, or did you carry on with air guns?
I was still carrying on with air guns.
Okay.
At that time I had a Webley Tracker, which I have still got.
That was a Birmingham gun, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Before
they sold out to the Turkish company.
Yeah.
It was again a 2.2, side lever. I've still got that. I still fire it in the garden at home. It's not too accurate because the trigger is very, very heavy and it can't be reset.
Yeah.
But I'll never get rid of it because it's a gun that I've taught all my children to shoot with. I also had a Virak HW35E with a long barrelled one, which was a remarkable gun, and I bought that from a man called Mr. Wheater in Lincoln.
Yeah, down Tentacroft Street.
That's right, and I'm told he was a world champion.
Okay.
World champion rifle shooter, and he was the one that recommended that to me, and it was a nice rifle. Unfortunately, I loaned it to someone, and they must have dropped it because they bent the barrel. But yes, I had that.
A lot of the older guns tend to they suffered that. Before they had the newer bear trap system on them, and you could pull the trigger while it was broken. they'd pull the trigger and the barrel would flick up, and several occurrences of that, and it would bend the
Right.
barrel up. Yeah.
Yeah. I was disappointed with that when
Yeah.
that went. And then, of course, I can remember coming into your shop and saying, I've got a rat problem at home, I want a rifle, and you sold me a Gammo.
Okay.
I can't remember which model it was, but it was with a plastic stock, and it did the job. It was a 2.2.
Did it?
It did the job. I killed the
2-2
rats.
again.
And then I traded it in for a very nice second-hand air sporter, which Lawrence sold to me.
Okay.
Still got that today. It's a lovely, lovely rifle on 7.7. Nice rifle.
Wow. What was that? You bought Air Sporter from the shop or a Pro Sport?
I brought a Pro Sport from the shop. Yeah.
The yeah. So that would have been, was that 3 years ago, something like
About that.
Yeah.
And then I can remember I mentioned to you, were there any clubs around? And you said, we're thinking of forming one.
Watch this
Would you
space.
put my name down, Peter?
Yeah, we did.
Which
We
you did.
Yeah.
And I was the first member to join.
You absolutely were. Yeah.
I didn't join. My wife joined me because she wanted to get me out of the house.
Yes.
And yeah, very, very happy. Happy days.
So how's your rifles since you've been? Because this your first venture onto range shooting?
Yes, it was. Yes, I got the BSA Lightning. I bought that prior to me buying the Pro Sport. I couldn't get on with it, but my second grandson had been bought a Virak HW77 for his birthday. His dad had bought him it without consulting him. It was too heavy for him, and we did a swap.
HW77.
HW77.
Yeah.
And that's proved to be a very, very accurate rifle. I've since had a new stock put on it, done by Custom Stocks of Sheffield, and I do really like it. It's an accurate rifle. I then came into the shop one day and I was tempted by a 97, which again Lawrence sold to me.
As he does.
Very, very happy with it. A nice rifle, very accurate.
Yeah.
I then,
Did you have that tuned?
yes, I've had both the 77 and the 97 tuned.
What sort of difference has that made to
Made
them?
an awful difference.
What stage? I know Paul Short did those for
He
you,
did.
didn't
It's took the twang away from the rifle because Viraks do have a
lot of the
certain
standard ones
twang
they
with
do.
them, and a little bit of it had quite a bit of a recoil. It's deadened that down no end. It's, in fact, people say, oh, it's got a recoil. I don't notice it at all.
Yeah.
Much, much quieter and very much smoother.
Yeah.
Both.
What stage tune did you have on both
I
of
had
those?
the full one done.
Did you?
Yes.
Titanium piston.
Yeah.
He does a good job.
He does.
Paul does, yeah.
It really does. And I don't think it's expensive when I look around what other people have paid.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm very pleased with it. And then I had some permissions where I'd go shooting wild, pigeons, rabbits. And I found as I've got older, the muscles in my left arm will not allow me to hold a heavy rifle. So I decided I wanted a PCP, which are much lighter.
Okay.
Came into the shop and
Go
I was
into the dark
speaking to
side.
you and Lawrence, and you persuaded me that the one I ought to get was the Air Arms 510. You were saying how good they were. I already knew how good they were because I had the Pro Sport. You phoned me one day to say, we've got them in, Ken, come down to the range. I came down, you let me try one on the range. I'm very, very pleased with it. In fact, I'm shooting with it this morning. I'm a Springer fan at heart, and that always will be, but I'm very much enjoying shooting the PCP, the 510. It's a nice rifle. I've had a single shot applicator put in from Rowan Engineering.
Okay.
I prefer that to
The single shot tray.
I prefer the
Yeah.
tray,
Yeah.
and I'm finding that really good. Enjoying
Yeah.
it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
But you still shoot your...
I still shoot the Springers.
Springers.
Yeah.
I know you're noted down here for... When we have a Springer to test, we always give it to Ken. Ken's the man.
I'm not that accurate these days though, because I'm afraid I've got to the age where things like arthritis tend to bother you.
Yeah.
But I wake up every morning and my wife says, "Don't moan, you've seen another day," and I think she's quite right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just enjoy coming over here to the range. I mean, been here this morning and I've had more laughs this morning.
There hasn't been a lot of shooting going on, Ken.
No, there was a lot of talking, a lot of laughs.
That's what
great.
matters, though, isn't it?
It's a good club. It's nice.
So what on your 510? Do you enjoy shooting the PCP then, or?
Yes, I do. but I do miss the recoil that I get with a Springer.
It's weird, that, isn't it?
Probably, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm that age where PCPs didn't exist when we first started.
No, they didn't.
A relatively new.
What about accuracy then between the two, do you find?
I still find I can shoot as accurate with the 77, the Pro Sport, and the 97 as I can with the PCP. Probably as I get more into the PCP, it's got to be more accurate because there is no recoil with it.
Yeah.
It is a smooth action, and also it's much quieter, obviously, because I have the silence, the Q-Tech silencer on it. So yes, I would have said probably eventually when I get more used to it, it would be a little slightly more accurate.
That's interesting, because you'd expect straight away to say, well, the 510's a lot easier to shoot, but you're still. Your first choice is the Springers.
It is every time.
So out of those 3 Springers, then, okay. What's your favourite?
Sentimental wise, it's the 77 because it was my grandson's, and with having a new stock on it, which is a very, very beautiful walnut stock, I do like that. But I'm not going to say I've got a favourite. I would one time I've said the 77, but I think they're all on a similar par. They're all very accurate. The two that have been tuned by Paul Short, the 2 Virarcs, are probably a little bit quieter than the Pro Sport.
Okay.
But the Pro Sport, there's something about the way it's made. It is beautifully made. And of course, it's such a lovely looking rifle with not having this second lever under the barrel.
Yeah. A little bit lighter?
No, I'd have said they're about the same, because with having the tuning done, it's lightened it up by taking the steel pistons out of the 2 Virarcs.
So how does a standard Pro Sport, do you think, compare to the tuned 97s?
It's on a par.
Is it?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
It was a better rifle than the 77 and the 97 before they were tuned.
Out the box?
Out of the box, straight out of the box. And I was told by Paul Short there wasn't a lot he could do to a 77. He said he thinks they're one of the most...
So the Pro Sport?
One of the most amazing rifles on the market. I think it's the Rolls Royce of air rifles.
We do have quite a few people shoot the Pro Sport down here, and the ones that have got them, they really do love them.
Yeah.
They really,
I know 2 or 3 of them, and they're all the same. They say,
they're not the cheapest Springer.
No, they're not.
But I don't think people buy those to sort of have them as a whim, do they? They know what they're doing.
It will last a long, long while.
They certainly will.
A lovely rifle.
Yeah.
I think as all Air Arms products are.
Yeah.
I'm very impressed. That's why when you said the 510, I was more than happy to go along with it, and I'm very happy with it.
Was I right with the 510?
Yes, you were. Definitely right. Yes, you were.
Which stock have you got in that?
Walnut.
Okay.
I know the cult today is towards bullpups and black synthetic stocks, but to me, I'm traditionalist. I like my wooden stocks, walnut in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah. 3 of my rifles have got walnut. The 97 is a beech stock, but it's a very, very attractive markings on it, so I haven't bothered to have that changed.
Yeah. So if you were going to get another gun, what would you go for? You've obviously seen a lot of guns down here.
Yeah.
What?
I think I would go for the 510 regulated. I think it's called. Is it the 510R?
The Ultimate Sporter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen one. I've had a shot with one on the range. I very much like it, and I think the regulation bit is great because I find with the 510. I'm getting about 75 shots from a charge, and then all of a sudden it suddenly drops off, which I don't think you get with the regulated one. I think you'd get a and you've got a gauge you can keep your eye on.
Shots,
yeah. I find that probably 75 on a 3-hour session. I'd probably have to have a fill up. I haven't had to do it this morning because I've done a lot of talking, more talking than shooting.
I know you're not. You are our oldest member here.
I am.
Do you find that cocking the underlever guns are a problem?
No.
Do you have any bad days when you think?
No, I don't. No? That's a strange thing.
That's interesting.
The movement of pulling my arm down is no problem. It's holding something steady.
Okay.
Where I haven't got the strength in my arm, but cocking the rifle is no problem at all. I find it easy. I think it's a knack. It's something you get used to.
Yeah.
whether it's a break barrel or under lever, you know.
When you were young, did you used to have to put the muzzle of the gun on the floor and cock it that way?
No,
I did.
no, did you? No, I didn't actually. No, probably because you had better rifles than me.
Oh no! I always had my rifles apart, always trying to get more power out of it.
Yeah.
And of course,
Putting oil down the barrel was the thing,
used to
where
put
you used to get the
everything
dieseling.
yeah. But we had no chronos in those days, so it was how many pages of the yellow pages
Could
the
it
pellet
shoot
would
through?
go through,
Exactly.
how powerful
Yeah.
it is,
And fill a tin with sand to see if it would go right through it.
yeah. But we always hankered after more power, didn't
Yeah, always.
we? Yeah,
And as we were saying earlier, it was nearly always 2.2s.
it was. Yeah,
Nearly always 2.2s.
yeah. I find that the bad thing I think about 177 is the size of the pellet,
Yeah.
especially in
Fiddly.
the winter if your hands are
when
a
you're
bit
cold.
or damp. Yeah,
And when you get old man's disease, the arthritis, it is a bit tricky.
yeah,
But I think it's building up a knack. It's the same with everything. You get a rhythm going, you get a pattern going, and you know what you're doing.
yeah.
But I agree with you when it's cold. And wearing gloves, I've got matte wet gloves, but I cannot
Yeah.
load with a matte wet glove. I have to take the glove off.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all right if you're loading a magazine, but if you're trying to put them inside
Exactly.
a
A single shot
yeah,
tray, it's
they're
difficult.
hard
Yeah.
work, especially on an underlever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. They're not easy. So it would be another air arms.
I think it would, yes. I had considered the Daystate Revere.
Okay.
I think it's a nice rifle, but I'm very happy with the Pro Sport and the 510. I think it would be another one.
Interesting.
I am actually contemplating one, Peter. I don't want to build your hopes up too much,
No,
but
no. That's interesting.
I am
It's,
contemplating one.
because I mean we get to see everything down here,
Yeah,
don't we?
we do.
We get to see
yeah,
sorts
all
of guns.
all kinds.
And you know we get to have a go with them, and
Yeah, and that's the beauty of this club. I mean, everyone. Would you like to try my rifle? You know, I've got some new pellets. Do you want to try my new pellets? You know.
talking of pellets, what do you use?
I use
Cheers, Brian.
QYS.
Okay.
QYS domed in the 77 and the 97,
Okay.
and the streamlined heavies in the Pro Sport and the 510.
So is that the standard weight ones in your 77 and 97?
I think
The
the
8.48.
8.48 are the ones in the 97 and 77, and the 9.56 are in the Pro Sport and the 510.
That's interesting. So don't you use any other pellets?
Yes, I occasionally use H&N Field Trophy. I find that when you take a handful of pellets out of any tin,
Yeah.
the QYS is very, very seldom get a bad one.
Yeah.
There's always
I
one.
know everyone is just about perfect.
Just about
isn't it?
perfect, beautifully finished.
Yeah.
The only criticism I have is that they should, in my opinion, put one of those little mats inside them.
Okay.
The foam mat,
Yeah.
just to cushion them.
You know when we receive them,
Yes.
we get normally we get pellets in sleeves of 10 pellets
Yeah.
or 5 pellets, but these are individually packed in. Cheers, Tony. Individually packed in polystyrene.
Yes, I know.
So they can't touch. And
I bought a tray of 10, and
there's
it's
a lot
great.
more packaging.
But it's a great way of doing it.
It is. I mean, obviously they come
Yeah.
from China.
Yeah,
And it seems to
But
work. It's
it does indeed.
It's a bit of a waste of resource, I think, with all the polystyrene.
but I do find when I look at this morning, the majority of people on the range were using QYS pellets.
Yeah.
Most
They
of them
haven't
were.
been out long, but they really
They
have
really
made
have
the
to-
mark, haven't they?
But they've proved themselves in the Olympics, haven't they?
yes.
With the target shooters.
Yeah.
They've been to a very, very popular pellet and took quite a lot of the gold medals.
There's quite a lot of guns I've found. We've had people down here with Varrock HW 100s and BSA R10s, and they've tried the QIS in them, and they certainly in those two models they do tighten the groups up.
They do.
They do.
Yes, I found this straight away when I used them.
Yeah.
Because I was using RWS Superdomes before, and JSBs, and Air Arms Field Target, are they? Field Target ones?
Air arms.
Air arms.
Air arms field.
Field.
Air arms
Yeah.
field. Dark blue field.
But I
yeah.
found as soon as ever I used the QYS, the groups tightened up, and didn't get any flyers at all.
Yeah. No, it's
Yeah.
interesting. It is that one you're shooting your target and you get a nice group of 4 and you
Yeah.
think dare I take the next
I know.
shot, because is it
I
going
would
to go
only
the same
ruin
way?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Generally speaking, with the QIS, you can take that extra shot. It isn't a bad one.
yeah,
Whereas before, yes, you'd say, oh, I've ruined that.
yeah, yeah. You got a nice little
Yeah,
pattern in the ball,
yeah, yeah.
and then you've got
And
a
they've got one
flyer.
that flies. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's always, you blame the pellet, but it's probably, in my case, it's probably me. My rifles are far more accurate than I will ever be.
They certainly are.
But I enjoy.
Yeah.
The thing is, I just get a kick out of shooting. I just love it. I find I can get up in the morning, I'm feeling a little bit depressed, a little bit wound up, come down on the range, and within half an hour of shooting, it's all flowed out the end of that barrel. It's gone.
That's brilliant.
And of course the company,
Yeah,
because
that makes a big
the
difference.
camaraderie here is second to none. It really is. In fact, I haven't seen this camaraderie since I left the army.
Haven't you really?
No, it's been great. It's great.
Do you mean the camaraderie or Mickey taking?
Well, both. And I believe you made the Mickey takings there.
It is.
Yes,
Yeah.
some of the names I can't mention.
Yeah, they know who they are.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's great.
brilliant, excellent. So, well, what more can we say?
I don't know, Peter.
No, that's it. That's gone through all your gun history, and
Probably, yeah. The only history I'll talk about.
you're a dark horse, Kate.
Oh dear.
Right, brilliant. Thank you very much for your
No,
time.
thank you,
and,
Peter. I've enjoyed the chat.
Yeah,
It carries on the tradition of our club, doesn't it?
it certainly does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly does.
Yeah.
And it's you know, we've all, a lot of us have got quite a big experience in shooting, and
Yeah. But you and Lawrence put a lot of work into this. It is appreciated. It really is. It's one of the best. I haven't shot at any other range. I've seen other ranges, but this is the only range I've shot at, and I wouldn't want to go to any other one.
that's good.
Love
Good
it.
to hear, yeah,
And we're all on equal terms.
certainly.
Great. Thank you, Peter.
Brilliant. Thank you, Ken.
You're welcome.
Cheers.